Okay. So let me go. Let's see. Let me put this on my page.
So we're live now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost there. Okay. There we go. How have you been, Semine?
I am good. How are you?
Okay. All right. So we're good now, right?
Yeah, we're good. We're live. We're ready to go.
Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Break the Silence in Bloom's first Facebook Live chat with our guest, Semine Walden. The purpose of this live chat is to build rapport with my friends and followers. Break the Silence in Bloom is a community initiative that focuses on facilitating and normalizing conversations around child abuse and neglect in safe spaces. 2 weeks ago, I did a live interview with Ashley Jones, founder of Invest Olive, in honor of Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I would like to think I did well, since my anxiety does not want me to be great. But anyway, thank you for always tuning in. I would like to introduce our guest, Ms. Semine Walden, one of my Achi sisters. She is an educator for PG County Public Schools and calls herself the student teacher. So, Ms. Walden, can you please tell us about yourself and why you call yourself the student teacher?
Yes, I will. So I'm a North Carolina native. I live currently in Maryland. And it was just the Lord that gave me that download one morning about the student teacher. I'm a teacher by vocation, teacher of the school, language arts. And I like to be able to share and impart and teach others those things that I learned, whether it's academic, whether it's maybe something spiritual, it could be something in business. But I am a student, always learning. And then I like to be able to share back to other people.
Okay, awesome. And this past week was Teacher Appreciation Week. So shout out to all the teachers who are heroes in my eyes. As a survivor of childhood abuse, I got my positive affirmations from my teachers. School was my sanctuary and safe place. And Nicholas Ferroni said that students who are loved at home come to learn, and students who aren't loved come to school to be loved.
Yeah, that's real talk.
Thank you. Yes. And also with adapting to this new online learning environment, it must be a challenge for you as a teacher. I know I struggled with the first, 2 to 3 weeks with working remotely from home and, homeschooling my son. So what were some of your challenges with this new online format during COVID-19?
So I think one of the biggest challenges that I face is just attendance and participation because, for some students, they didn't, the county, for the first distribution, they ran out of Chromebooks. So then students didn't have devices to get on. Then some students, their internet connection is still a little spotty. Some people, are not even in their homes. I had a lot of students to tell me, Ms. Walden, some of my family, we had to travel. We had a family member that was sick. We have people in the house that's sick. So then students are in their quarantine, their families in quarantine. So it's really the participation of them actually coming on, doing the work. And then when I have live sessions for them to actually come live, I had my first live session last week. And so the attendance piece is the big piece.
Okay. That's awesome. So child abuse thrives in isolation. Many students are currently experiencing hell at home. Are there any students in particular that you have concerns for?
I I have one in particular who she never opened up and said it out her mouth what was going on, but she would always tell me that, she had a hard time at home. And so she's one particular one. She couldn't actually get into the Google Classroom. So I've been able to communicate with her through email. I haven't talked to her as much as I like, but that one in particular.
Okay. And as you're also a mandated reporter, so what are some red flags and signs of abuse that would compel you to report?
Okay, so because I don't physically see them anymore, like physically see them, a lot of times, some of the things, and I'll share some of the things that I look for now online, and then some things that people who are watching can look for even, while you're out. So I have on this hoodie right now. Obviously, I'm inside because we like mostly quarantine, but I have on this hoodie. And typically, when you see students who say it could be very hot in a classroom, or it could be hot, the temperature could be hot. If they have on layers, hoodies, jackets, and coats that they don't want to take off, a lot of time it's because they're hiding. Either they're cutting themselves, they've been abused, or something's going on that they don't want you to see. And so the layering of the covers. Now, for the county I work in, students don't have to show their face, and they don't have to speak. We can just use chat. So I haven't seen a lot of their faces. So, I don't know, but like change in behavior. Like they start typing random stuff in the comments, or they start saying, just mean things, or sending mean emails, or students tell me that someone's sending them random things, or their personality just changes, and they become defiant, or they don't want to listen to you, while I'm online or communicating with them. That's one red flag that something is going on. Another thing that you would look for is just even their participation in work, outside of the fact that some of them don't have internet, outside of the fact some of them don't have Chromebooks, just a desire to say, you know what, I don't care. They give up on life. They have a very nonchalant attitude. Some of them, especially with the boys, a lot of that can turn into anger. And we think that, they just don't want to listen, or they non-compliant, or they disrespectful. But sometimes they're holding that stuff in, and it's like they don't have any other way to express it, because somebody's either told them don't say nothing, or if you say something, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get your parents. So they fearful. But those are just a few of the things that I look for now online.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah, I feel like even though we're in isolation, like the signs are definitely there. Thank you, Ms. Samine.
Oh, you're
So
welcome.
let's talk about the Maslow before Bloom concept. So when I learned about Abraham Maslow in my psych class, I fell in love with his hierarchy of needs pyramid. It helped me understand myself as a person, why I struggle. I didn't struggle as a student academically. Like I always made the honor roll, I always excel in my classes. I struggled as a person. And I excelled as a student because of teachers like you. However, with that being said, how have you epitomized the Maslow before Bloom with this whole new, online format with your students?
So I am definitely a Maslow before Bloom type of teacher. And before I understood all of the lingo and all of the jargon, I understood that it was just kind of like my makeup and my understanding. And a lot of times we have our specific ways of learning and doing things and just being as people. And when people give us a title, or they give you the name for, it's like, oh, okay. So I'm definitely a Maslow person. I used to have a hard time. I have a lot of boys. I teach a lot of boys. So I had a hard time kind of communicating with them, like getting them to do work, connecting with them. And so I went to my principal, who's a really, really good principal. And he was like, well, come into my office. And in his office, he has the Maslow chart up there. And he was like, so, the first of the basic needs, that, the food, the water, the rest, all of that. Okay. If they don't have that in the morning times when they come, or whenever they come to your classroom, they probably gonna be off. Then you talked about the safety. Is your classroom safe? Do they feel secure? Do you have your classroom management in place? Like what you got going on in there? And so when I looked at it, I was like, wow, I really get that. Because I always ask them, well, how you doing? How was your weekend? Did you play last night? I say that to them every day. And I built a rapport with the parents by way of doing it through their children. A lot of times parents can't come to back to school night, and I know a lot of times educators, teachers will say the parents are bad. That's not the case. Some people are working, some people don't have transportation, right? So I always say, well, tell your parents Miss Walden says hello. And so they do. And then I'll say, did you tell your parents what I said? And they say, yeah. So it's like I'm communicating with the child by way of the communicate with the parent by way of the child. I don't personally communicate with them, but I'm definitely more of a Maslow's person. Those basic needs has to be more, the safety need, the friendship is so important to them. Like I don't tell them why you crying, why you upset because you and your friend mad. Like that's real. And one of the biggest things my girls have told me since we've been out, and some of the boys, is that they miss their friends, that they don't see their friends, that they got to be stuck in the house. And that's a big thing for them. So I'm trying to incorporate as much collaboration as I can online so they don't feel so isolated from each other.
Got you. That's deep. And according to his 5 categories of needs, you have the physiological, which is the breathing, the food, the water, the shelter, the clothing, and getting some sleep, right? Then you have the safety and security. You have love, belonging. You have the esteem part of it, which is confidence, achievement, and your status. Then you have the self-actualization portion, right? Which is achieving one's full potential. Now, he indicated that the lower level of needs must be met before one can move to the next level. So I thought that was deep. Now, Bloom's taxonomy is a classification system developed by educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom, right? To categorize cognitive skills and learning behavior. His theory is more focused on the academics. So you just was able to mention how you were able to epitomize Maslow before Bloom concept in your classroom and with distance learning. And I think that's wonderful. The concept Maslow before Bloom is basically ensuring that students' basic human needs are met before we can expect them to learn, right?
Yep.
Now, Dr. Brian Perlman, he is the author of Maslow before Bloom book. And he basically said it best. He said, if a student is hungry, exhausted, scared, traumatized, disconnected, lonely, or feeling like a failure, it will be difficult for them to achieve to their highest capability, right?
Yep.
What do you think about that?
I agree. So one of the things, I'll give you a prime example, and this is why I get frustrated a lot of times. And usually teachers who really have the heart of a teacher, their biggest challenge is not necessarily with students, it's with their colleagues who kind of don't do right by children. And so we have a program, our school, Title I school, and everybody gets free and reduced lunch. Well, when the buses come late, some of the teachers will say, hey, you got to go to class. And they like, well, I need to get breakfast. You got to go to class. So they don't get breakfast. They come to my room all turned up because they hungry. And it's like, man, most of the times I send them back out. But if the cafeteria is already closed, there's no breakfast for them. So it's like they really really going crazy. So I tried to we installed something maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was a sharing table. All you don't want to eat, you bring it here and leave it, and then somebody can exchange and get whatever they want. And when I first came to Maryland, I was a partaker of that. Like, I was so poor. It was just a really bad space in my life. And so I was taking the free breakfast and I was taking the free juice and stuff home. So I understood that. And, that's one of the things where I really get really upset, because it's like, outside of teaching, you're going to get the learning. You're going to learn how to read. You're going to do all that stuff. But if you don't do right by a student, it's like, that's not helpful. So I'm taking it's a reading in the content area 2 class. And we were just in our class today. And I took this picture because I said, this reminds me of what we was going to talk about tonight. His name is Dr. Alfred Tatum. He's out of Chicago. Grew up in, kind of impoverished home, with Chicago public schools. And this is what he said. He says, however, and he was talking specifically for African Americans, many African American boys feel loathed before they are loved, feel rejected before they are respected, and feel alienated before they're educated. These feelings often morph into expressions of anger. And so I truly believe that if the human basic needs are not met, that you get all kinds of behavior problems, you get all kinds of referrals, you get all kinds of ISS or out of school suspension, or go to an alternative school because the needs are not being met. And I don't think that as a whole in our curriculum that they do a good enough job of infusing these things in. It's like, this is a standard, this is your curriculum, and you got to get through it within the next 6 weeks. And so it's like, it's either you totally be oblivious to what they got going on, or you take time to really get to know your students and say, listen, if we don't get through all of this content, by the time this 6 weeks is over, as long as I know you okay and I'm able to help meet you where you are, then, that's sometimes what we got to, you have to decide as an educator.
Exactly. I agree. That is so deep, Samine. And Dr. Brian Perlman, he also stated during his webinar that I saw a couple of days ago that one of the attributes of a Maslow before Bloom friendly staff person is high empathy and compassion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an educator, but I do provide services to students in the financial aid department at Anne Arundel Community College.
Mm-hmm.
And I always empathize first. Okay, so to conclude, thank you so much for taking the time out to be a guest on our first live chat, Ms. Samine. It was definitely fun. Thank you for being a Maslow before Bloom educator. Really needed, especially during this pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Thank you to all who are tuning in. Remember, if you see something, say something. Do not turn a blind eye to child abuse. A lot of children are currently experiencing the hell at home. So definitely don't forget the children during this time. Okay, so thank you, Ms. Samine.
You are so welcome, Sister Fran. And we have 2 comments.
All right, take
okay, we have 2 comments.
Okay, cool.
So Akeem, this one of my brothers, he's from Nigeria. So he was like, what's the title of the webinar? It's called Maslow Before Bloom. I don't know, Frank, did you want to kind of go back over the concept of this real quick?
Yeah, I can pull it up on my phone right now.
Okay.
It's really neat.
And then he says, so true, support and care, then they are more receptive to teacher, friends, and learning. I agree. And then, so Akeem, so how we get the free breakfast and stuff is because I work at a Title I school where 80% of the students have free and reduced lunch. And so then, of course, you get money for those type of schools. So that's how we're able to provide the free breakfast for all students.
Okay, so it's called the Maslow Before Bloom webinar on YouTube.
Okay.
By Dr. Brian Perlman.
All right. So you got that, Akeem. If you have any more questions, then you can just follow up with me. But thank you so much, Sister Fran. I'll let you close out again, and then we're out of here.
Enjoy the rest of your night, hon.
All right. Thank you too.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.